think this is like the race of the year that everybody looks forward to. All the big dogs come out of here. I think my game plan is obviously just to learn as much as I can. First season out, never ridden a bike before this before, so it's an exciting experience. But I think the main goal is to just stay protected and work with my blade gears as much as I can, stay off the front.
My plan is to attack it every time, and I think somebody's definitely going to make a move at some kind of breakaway, and it will be a make or break situation on that hill at some point during the race, so I need to just stay on it, make sure I'm locked in that turn, ready to slam the pedals down if I have to.
We're heading to the Hyde Park Blast crit today. It's the largest criterium race in the city of Cincinnati. P123 probably has about 50 riders in it, and Cat 45, which we're in, has 30, 35. But it's a great day to race outside. I'm about to go get ready, and I will see you there. The game plan for this race is just stay in the front third of the race. I don't know if people are going to be trying to make a break or just stay till sprint finish. I know if I'm at least in the front third of the pack, I can react to anything that's going to happen. I've experienced from trying to stay in the back, thinking that I'm conserving energy. Being in the back doesn't work out. You get kicked out as soon as somebody doesn't follow one of the brakes or someone doesn't push as hard as they need to. You're sort of screwed out of the front running. So really trying to stick to the front group, stay in the pack forward as much as I can, and hopefully get a semi-decent result out of it. And we are off. Coming into this race, I got plenty of rest. I took a break from riding those for like 3 days leading up to this, and then did a couple of openers the day before just to shake off any rust that it might have built up. And it was a really nice day too. I believe the temperatures were sitting around the low 80s, and the 4-5 race started at like 10 a.m. or so we beat the heat. This race is put together really well, and it's a whole day event actually. So in the morning they start with a 5K and a bunch of other smaller foot races with kids, older people, younger people, everyone. And then it's our time to start. We start right before the Hyde Park block party. So a bunch of people come in to go to vendors and food. There's a concert going on, and then that's when the P123 races as well. But getting into the race, the lineup at the start line was based on the order of registration. So I was in the very front of the start, which I guess is better than being in the back, but I really didn't want to have to try to set a pace, so I allowed some people to pass me right off the bat, and Jesse was one of them. Jesse is in the white kit, and he's someone that I try to work with through the races. He said he was feeling pretty good, so he led out the majority of the opening laps, and I wanted to stay on his wheel the best I could so we could work together. So I try to split through a little gap that opens up, and I used a little bit of energy to get there, but I think it puts me in a better spot to advance and hopefully work with him. We just went through the main feature of the course, a 25 to 35 foot climb up a narrow alley. I think the total elevation for the race was around 500 feet, so more than average, but only half as much as the Alt Park Crit series that the majority of the people have been doing here. It's so crucial to go into this uphill turn with speed, and you'll see me I'll go through well a couple of times and poorly the majority of the time, and the variability is mostly due to that pinch point that goes into the turn. Most of the time you're going in like 1 or 2 wide, sometimes 3 wide, but the amount of watts you're putting out really depends on your efficiency through that turn. Jesse was still up front pulling the race ahead, and I was trying to tell him to get off the front because we were doing too much and needed to make sure we had enough energy to respond in the event that someone attacks over the top. So he does end up slowing down and lets me get in front of him, but at the same time I end up screwing him coming into that uphill because I had someone on my wheel and I didn't give him enough space to work in behind me. He ends up being pushed back a number of spaces and has a really tough time working back into the group. There was a small gap beginning to form due to the guy in front of me not sticking on the wheel, and that's a huge thing with these 180s. You have to keep as much speed going into the turn and sprint out of it every single time, or these gaps will form. I see Brian coming around the outside to merge into that front group, so I decided to do the same. And you can see the amount of space that was left behind me in the GoPro once I decided to go. But fortunate thing for the people that are behind is that that hill is coming up. The timing is perfect for them. Everyone has to slow down coming into the left turn anyway, so it gave them all time to catch up. And coming into the top of the hill, you can see one guy take the turn a little too sharp, and he sort of falls off his bike, causing some people to go wide on the left-hand side. But he doesn't take anyone down, so no harm, no foul. On this one, he gets right on his bike, and I really don't think it had any effect on the race that much. Skipping ahead about a half a lap, you can see just how slow everyone was going on the flats. I'm averaging probably 200, 250 watts here, moving up into a much better position, and this will be a recurring thing. People will be pushing on the climbs and out of the 180s, but really using the space in between to rest and recoup, which is a really odd dynamic, but one that fits me pretty well. I'm not much of an endurance rider, but when it comes to those punchy efforts, I have a much better chance of contending with those faster guys. Alright, sorry about that. There were like 18 minutes of nothing happening. But we're coming into the final 10 minutes of the race, and you can see again the group slowing down. But not even putting in 300 watts, I was able to move up like 4 or 5 places while maintaining an outside line for that 180, which allows me to keep more speed coming into the turn, which means I don't have to push as hard when rounding the corner. But at this point, the group is split into two, and there was a gap. The gap kept getting wider from the front group to the back group. So luckily, by sticking to the plan of staying towards the front, I was able to make the split and set myself up for a better finish. You can see Brad up front throwing his hands up because no one wants to take the front from him. And at the same time, Preston has had enough of the slow pace. He flies around the left side and puts everyone's rest to a halt. Skipping ahead to the final 2 laps, our average speed for this race was just under 23 miles per hour. For some reason, my speed wasn't being recorded towards the end, but the group slowed slightly to set up for the final lap around the course. I've been working through the 180 pretty well for this race and knew that coming into the final laps, I would need to be as efficient as I could through those turns and into the hill. So I take a pretty wide turn and keep a good amount of speed, but everyone else does the same. So I find myself behind the group a bit and end up fighting more wind than I probably should be towards the end of the race. But it actually works out pretty well for me because I get to take an unobstructed line up that hill and probably output the least amount of watts on this climb for the whole race. Also, I wasn't aware until watching this back that I'm the very last person in the lead group. The moto official really creeping on up here. But we come through the downhill and I feel like I have a bit of energy left and knew I had to make up some positions to even get a chance at the finish, so I put a little 400 watt push in and find a bunch of free space on that left hand side. My heart rate starts to drop a little bit, and I get a great punch coming out of the corner, which sets me up on the backside of the group and with a little bit of space behind me. In retrospect, I can see that I'm leaving a ton of space between the guy in front of me and myself, and I should really be closing that gap down instead of relaxing at less than 200 watts. But we're coming into the final climb, and I know that there's some space to make up, so I admit I got a little choppy going through the corner, but by doing so, that set me up for a pretty good line, and I end up in great positioning coming through the crest of the hill. Now downhill is it's a completely different story. I'm gonna go back through this really quick before the finish, but you can see me squeezing the brakes like I'm heading into oncoming traffic or something. I wasn't trusting the guy in front of me, and I think that takes time, but it loses me so much momentum coming into that final leg. We're working down the straight, and I see the guy to my left pulling through a bit harder. Now understand that we're really not that close to the finish line. If I started my sprint now, there's no chance I would make it to the end. So I try to jump on his wheel, and I just shift over way too early, and then I stand up for my final sprint. I knew some people had used too much energy way too early, so I put everything that I had left in the tank down, and I really just take off. I passed 2 people right before the finish and just missed the next guy. My heart rate got up to like 194, which might be the highest it's been all year, and I'm just absolutely destroyed. There was no chance I was making it around the course for a cool down lap. So I picked the closest place to get off and then proceeded to just die. So much so that one of the organizers come over to give me some water, and he goes to hand it to me, and I just have no idea what was going on.
That'll help a little bit. If you need to, if you're really overheating, choose some socks too. That's the other one. Yep.
But that was the Hyde Park Blast crit for this year. I ended up coming in 12th place, which is pretty good for what I've been doing. Let me know below in the comments if you think I should do more or less editing. I'm trying to get a style down that everyone likes, and it's fun to produce. So any feedback you can give me would be great. Anyway, thanks for watching the video. I have some bigger things planned coming in the future, so I hope you'll stick around. I will see you in the next one.